Hello everyone, my name's Tony with the Mississippi Picker channel, and today's video is, it's just about what's going on with me and Deidre. And we've been going through a little bit here lately, and I just want to kind of explain everything that has been going on so that you guys know where we have been. I know we've been noticeably tardy from putting up any new videos for a while, and there's a good reason for that. For the longest time, I mean, I'm almost 63 years old, and for the longest time, me and Deidre, either one, we've never had any kind of medical issues, like ever, like nothing. Just been very, very blessed, fortunate, whatever you want to call it. We have been very, very lucky. So I would just say God has taken care of us. Now, I know a lot of people out there have different beliefs, and some people have no beliefs, and, I'm not trying to push anybody one way or the other on that. I mean, if you believe, you believe. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. Everybody's got their own opinion. But I know what I know, and we've been blessed. But that's my opinion, okay? Just take it for what it is. Um, Up until this point, we haven't had anything. We have seen, family members all around us go into the hospital left and right for this thing and that thing, and we've just been skating right along, and we've not had one issue all the way up until this year, 2024. Uh, it started with something kind of minor. I had to go have an emergency surgery on a wisdom tooth, which really wasn't all that bad. And it put us in a little bit of a bind because my wife had to drive me home from the surgery, and she doesn't really drive. I mean, she can drive, but she doesn't like to drive. She's a very nervous driver, and where we had to go have this done was in a kind of a busy, congested city, and she doesn't like to drive in that kind of environment. But I didn't have anybody else to take me, so she had to do it. Anyway, we we got past that, but 1 week, almost 1 week to the day later, um, Deidre was having some issues with her vision. She in her left eye, she started seeing these floaters. And if you don't know what floaters are, you can Google that. But she started seeing floaters, and I have floaters. A lot of people do. It's no big deal. A lot of people that as you get older, you see floaters. And but the problem was she was also getting this like part of her eye was like, she said it was very hard to describe, but it was like a curtain on one side of her eye, and we didn't we didn't know anything about this. She thought she was having some sinus trouble. She thought maybe she was seeing part of her eyelid or something like that. She didn't know what was going on. The eye was a little blurry, so I made an appointment with her for our optometrist, and we went there. That was, in our town, and they took a lot of photographs of her eye, and the optometrist determined that she had a retinal tear, which is not, it's not the end of the world. A retinal tear is very repairable, so that was good. We were gonna go get that taken care of, but they didn't do that there. We had to go to the next town over, which is where the bad traffic and all that is. But I'm driving this time, so it's no big deal. So I take her over there to get checked out. This is Retinal Specialist of Mississippi, and they specialize in retinal tears, retinal detachments, all this kind of stuff. So we go there, they take all the photographs all over again. She has to have all the things on her dilated, the whole 9 yards has to be done completely from scratch all over again. So everything that she just did, a couple of days before, she had to do all over again. And at the end of that um, appointment, the doctor determined that she had a full retinal detachment. That's bad. You've got to have an operation for a detachment. So it needed to be done right away. And the doctor that was in our town over, he's the only one in that town that does this kind of surgery. And he was full up. He didn't have any openings until like it was going to be like 3 days later before he could get to her. And in his opinion, that just wasn't acceptable. So he started calling other doctors that do this kind of surgery, but the closest one, believe it or not, was in Birmingham, Alabama, which is like it's like a 3.5 hour drive from where we live to there. So Birmingham's a place I've never been to, and I knew it was going to be a little bit of a stretch for me to be able to get through that traffic. I was feeling sick to my stomach when they told us Birmingham. I don't. If you've ever been to Birmingham, you know what I'm talking about. It's no fun. The place is insane with traffic. So we didn't have a choice. It was our only option. Our doctor talked to a doctor over in Birmingham, and he agreed to do the surgery. But this wasn't an appointment. This was just doctor to doctor. This doctor, our doctor, called the doctor in Birmingham on the cell phone, and they just had a conversation. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Just send her over here, and I'll do the surgery. 9 o'clock in the morning. Just have her here." So we're like, okay. I didn't want to make that trip, but I knew my wife's eyesight was more important than my comfort on the road, so I had to just buckle down and make the trip. So I knew it was going to be a long ride, and I knew the traffic was going to be insane. So we left at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we made one little stop at a truck, not a truck stop, but one of these welcome centers in Alabama, and just to stretch my legs for just a minute, go to the bathroom, stuff like that. So anyway, we wound up getting to our destination at 7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, the traffic was completely insane. At 7 o'clock in the morning, it was insane. I can't even imagine what it would have been like, an hour later. So I'm glad we went as early as we did. But anyway, we got there at 7 o'clock. And the hospital that we went to, or the clinic that we went to, wasn't supposed to open until 8, but they were open at 7. So we went on in. Well, when we got in there, the clinic didn't know, they didn't know why we were there. They had no idea that we were even coming. So apparently our clinic had not called this clinic to let them know that we were going to be there, at 9 o'clock in the morning. We weren't on the file nowhere. This was just a doctor to doctor call, and those two hadn't shared any information with the front desk, so they didn't know anything. And we didn't know what doctor our doctor had talked to. So we didn't know who to tell them, that the doctor was that had agreed to do the surgery. So we had to call our doctor back up and get him, and that wasn't an easy task because you get the front desk and the doctor's not like immediately available via phone, so you have to get them to call him on his cell phone and try to find out who the doctor was that we were supposed to go see. So we finally got the name. Apparently he had talked to another doctor, and that doctor was the one that agreed to do the surgery, but he wasn't going to be there, so he said the attending doctor would do it. But apparently he hadn't told the attending doctor this, or yes, he did, but it was a little bit convoluted the way they made the whole thing. Anyway, we told him who the doctor was, and uh, they said that doctor's not here. So then we said, well, let's call them back. And we found out who the doctor was that was. They said it's going to be the attending doctor. We finally found out who the doctor was that was supposed to be doing the surgery. So it was a lot of him hawing around trying to find out. We had drove all that way through all that crazy traffic, and we were there to get the surgery that morning, and it didn't look like it was going to happen, but it did, because we stayed on them enough that they finally got a hold of the doctor that was supposed to do the surgery, and sure enough, the other doctor had told him about it, and he had agreed to do it. So, at the end of the day, we were able to get a slot for surgery that day. But we're at a clinic right now, and we're not at the place where they're going to do the surgery. So they had to put Deidre back through she just had these tests. All these tests she just done, she did like 3 days ago, and then the one day ago, and now she's having to do them all over again this day. Same test. She's having to have photographs taken of her eyes. She's having to be dilated. She's having to go through the whole rigmarole all over again. This is third time in a row. So we finally get to the point to where they say, okay, you're going to have the surgery today, and now we need you to go to the hospital. Well, we don't know anything about Birmingham, and I mean, my head's in a whirlwind at this point, because I don't know where to go, and they're trying to tell us where we are, and I'm hearing it, but I'm not hearing it. Anyway, we get out, we get back on the road, and we're going, where the guy has told us it was supposed to be. Well, if you've ever been to Birmingham, all these buildings look just alike. They all look alike, and they're all under construction. Everything over there is under construction. So we get to the point where I think it is, and I'm like, I think I pull in there, and Deidre's like, no, this is not the right place. And so I wind up having to back out into oncoming traffic. Thank goodness the traffic light had them stopped, or otherwise it would have been really bad. But we get back going straight again, and I mentioned the name that the doctor had said. It was Callahan Hospital, UAB's Callahan Hospital, and so we were able to find it because it was on the side of the building, Callahan. So we get there, and just getting into the hospital, there is a tiny little alleyway that you have to go into to get to the parking garage. Well, we get to the parking garage, and I've never been to a paid parking garage like this. Yeah, I know. I'm from Mississippi, okay? Never been to a paid parking garage where you get a ticket, and then I didn't know what to do with the ticket, so I thought, well, maybe we're supposed to leave it on the dashboard of the car, and so that they know that we've got a ticket. I didn't know what all that meant, So anyway, leave the ticket on the dashboard of the car. We lock the car up. We go into the hospital. As soon as we get to the door, there's a big sign on the door that says, make sure you bring in your ticket, your parking ticket, so that we can validate it. So I left Deidre there. I had to go walk all the way back to the car, get the ticket out of the dashboard, bring it all the way back. We finally get into the hospital, and we get checked in. And from there, everything got a little bit smoother, But we still had to go through, a lot of waiting, a lot of talking to this person, that person. We kind of got disoriented inside the building. It's a big hospital, so tried to go on the wrong elevator. We finally got to where we were supposed to be, but she had the operation, and Uh, right now, that was on June 26th, and I think today's the 28th or 29th. I'm not sure. I'm like I said, I've been in a whirlwind since all this happened. I mean, it's a lot to take in, you know. But she's had the operation, and I think it was 3 days ago. So we're on like day three now. But after you have this operation, they put a gas bubble, you know, in your eye. And that gas bubble is supposed to push up against the retina to keep the repaired part in place while it's healing. So that's where we are right now. They're trying to get that to repair itself. So you have to keep your head down all the time. So for over the next 2 weeks, you know, her head's got to be down so that bubble covers the retina. Because as you lean down, the bubble rises up and it puts pressure up against the retina. So a retina detachment we've never heard of. We didn't know what that was. At first we were told it was a retinal tear from the optometrist, and then when we got to the Hattiesburg Retina Center, they told us it was a full retinal detachment, and then that's when we, you know, had to make the emergency run to Birmingham because they were the only ones around that had somebody that could do it. And then when we got there, they didn't even know what we were talking about. So it was just a whirlwind, you know. But everything worked out, and we were able to get the operation done. So everything's good. We're just right now we're trying to get through this 2 week period where you know, she's got to keep her head down all the time, and hoping that everything you know, turns out good. Um, I mean, there's just no way to know, you know, what it's going to be like, you know, or if the operation's going to be a total success until you get, you know, to the end of it. And that retinal bubble it takes like 2, 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks for it to fully dissipate, you know. Then once that happens, your eyesight, you know, should start to be restored. It's not going to be fully restored for a long time. You have to wait maybe 8 months to a year before you get eyeglasses again, so that you can make sure you're getting the right prescription. Otherwise, you're just going to get one prescription after the other throughout the year. So that's kind of where we are right now. I know this is a long explanation, but that's what we've been going through. That's why I haven't put any videos up. As far as eBay goes, I've kind of put that on hold again because we're just going through too much right now, and I just need to stay focused on taking care of my wife and making sure that, you know, everything goes smoothly with her recovery. But we're okay. Everything's good. God's been good to us, and like always, you know, I don't know why God continues to take care of us, but He does. And we're grateful for that. I promise you that. We certainly don't deserve it, but He does continue to take care of us. So keep us in your prayers, and we appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.